Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Panda Express. If you managed to see where I'm hiding in the intro, leave a comment down below, let me know where I was. The white grid that you can now see on the screen represents the amount of space required to make your Panda Express. I've also included instructions on how to find the starting position. If you are planning on making this in a city or surrounded by other builds, or you specifically want to build it in a particular position, I would highly recommend making the grid. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. And not only that, we will also be needing these as well, and possibly some others. This is a very varied build. Begin by placing a black glass pane on top of the previously designated starting position. Extend it to the right by 2. 1, 2. Place a red concrete right of the glass. Then place a black stained glass pane. Destroy a block in the ground going right. Opposite it, place a black glass pane, followed by a red concrete, followed by a black glass pane, followed by 2 light grey concrete. 1, 2. Extend backwards by 1. Extend to the right using black glass and place 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then extend the glass backwards by 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. Then extend backwards by 6 light grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Extend this block inwards, and then place 3 spruce planks extending right. 1, 2, 3. Extend across the back of the build by 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Then extend inwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then place a light grey concrete extending right, forwards, right, back. Place a spruce plank inwards and to the right from this back light grey concrete, and extend the spruce plank to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then, in front and to the right of this, place a light grey concrete, extend forwards, and then extend black glass pane to the right. This is a relatively complicated floor plan, but this is what we should end up with. With the floor plan complete, we can now add further detail to the build. We're going to begin with this pillar of light grey concrete that we have at the front of the build. First of all, we're going to join it together to turn it into a 2x2 square, and then raise it up by 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, we want to do the same with every other block, just like this. Then, we want to take the glass to the right of this and add 2 more rows on top of it. So, simply using black glass block, we just want to increase those rows by 2. Then, we can add 4 rows of red concrete on top of the glass. 1, 2, 3, 4. That will take us up to the top of the light grey. And this is where the sign for our Panda Express is going to go. So, this is where the actual physical writing will be placed, and we'll be doing that a little bit later. On the right side of the build, we have some more light grey concrete. We're going to raise this up as high as the surrounding area, so all the way up as high as the red concrete that we have just finished placing. And of course this little row behind as well. We also want to take every single other spruce plank and every single other light grey concrete that we have and raise them all up to be as high as the rest of the restaurant. With a generous amount of the structure complete, we can now focus on some of the more detailed portions of the build, such as the entrance. So the entrance is right here. It's pretty much the only part that we haven't developed. We want to begin by placing 2 red concretes on top of the 2 red concretes that we have. 1, 2, and 1, 2. We then want to place cyan terracotta on top of them, join them together, and then extend them along where we have the glass just below it, and join it to the other parts of the building. We also want to place a row of red concrete that sits in front of the cyan terracotta, yet spans the difference between the left and right sides of the entrance. Glass pane extended upwards like this. We actually want to make the entrance a little bit fancier. Let's add some glass block at the top of the actual doorway, like so. And we can make it fancier still by adding, I believe we have it on us, some string and light grey carpet. If we place some string in front of the red concrete and glass, stack some light grey carpet on top, perfect. We can also raise up the black stained glass pane as well that we have left and right of the entrance. We just have to bridge the gap, just like this. And underneath the glass pane as well, I'm going to recommend that you dig it out and replace it using cyan terracotta, just because I like how it looks. I think it looks quite cool. Now that we have done that, we can also, as we are in the business of completing the entrance it looks like, we're going to add some suspended end rods hanging in front of the center of the doorway on the left and right like this, who look like door handles. In addition to this, we want to add some glass on top of the cyan terracotta that we have. I'm considering whether I should use glass pane or glass block, but I'm thinking glass pane. So 3 rows of glass pane extending up as high as the light grey concrete that we have on these sides will look pretty good. So let's place a couple of rows on top of this initial row and that will be perfect. Although there is further detail to add just behind here that I would also consider part of the actual structure of the building. So once we have done this, we are going to add some red concrete directly behind the cyan terracotta that we placed. We want to add a couple of rows. We might even make it 3 rows. We can always alter this a little bit later on, but the idea here is that we want to create a little bit of a platform, and I think that we're going to change this light grey concrete row here into a red concrete row, and I think that we're going to do the same here as well. So like where the glass connects to this corner pillar, we're going to make this inward corner red concrete, and then we're going to extend the red concrete backwards like this. Actually, let's actually add what we want to add, and then we can figure it out. So once we've kind of like made this, we want to grab the green wool, green concrete, and lime concrete. And we kind of want to place, if you start off with a layer of lime concrete that just kind of sits inwards, 1 row away from the actual glass pane, you can see why we've done that. We don't want that to stick onto anything, and it will give us this effect. And that's the reason that we place the red concrete, so that it kind of like assimilates into the rest of the building. It gives a nice clear contrast. And then we are going to chop out some of the wool that we've placed and replace it using a mixture of green wool and green concrete, just to kind of like vary it a little bit. And we can even decorate the inside of that a little bit more, but we are going to be doing that later because it requires a little bit more finesse than just placing a couple of blocks here and there. So that is looking pretty good so far. With a good portion of the structure of the build made, it's now time for us to make the inside floor of our build. It's just easier to do it now rather than later. Making the floor is very simple. First of all we have to do is rip up the entire floor inside of our building, whatever that might be. Grass, pondzol, netherrack, endstone. It's probably one of those. Rip all of that up and then place alternating light grey terracotta and white terracotta to create a checkered pattern for the floor. Really, really simple. Oh, and also you may have noticed I dug underneath the glass block on the front right side of the build, underneath where the sign sits, and I have replaced underneath the black glass using cyan terracotta. With the floor inside complete, we can now completely finish the entire outside of the build. So, let's work our way out of here and come to the left side of the building. The first thing that I want to do is place a row of cobblestone slabs in between this pair of light grey concrete. Behind this, we're going to dig this out, replace it with sand. Then, we are going to place campfires somewhere along this wall. So I'm thinking about here, maybe? We could place them a little bit higher, but I want to have a couple of layers of campfires, and this is a decoration we shall be repeating later. Extinguish those, and then sponge out the water. Then I'm simply going to place them in bamboo, and I will leave that to grow, but if you're a little bit impatient, then there you go. That'll do. Maybe we'll leave that one by itself. So, with that complete, the next thing that we're going to do is, well, we've got a lot of digging to do. So, first of all, when it comes to the outside, we are going to place a row of terracotta directly in front of the right side of Panda Express. This is right in front of the window. Then, we are going to place 2 rows of smooth stone directly in front of the entire build sat inside the grid, and then also up the left side. Once that has been complete, we are going to then, extending out from the right side of the smooth stone towards the outer part of the grid, we are going to dig out that entire area and across to the left by 8 rows in total. What that will allow us to do is place a strip of yellow carpet along the right side of what we are going to fill in with grey concrete. I don't think I mentioned that, that's very important. We will place yellow carpet in a strip, leave a gap of 3, which will be grey concrete, place another yellow strip, which will then leave us with a remaining row of 3 grey concrete, and then we will have 2 car parking spaces. Then we want to have 7 entire rows of smooth stone in between the car parking spaces, and then at the end we are going to dig a row of 1 smooth stone along the front of the build, connect it back to the row of 2 smooth stone path that we have on the left side of the build, fill the remaining square area in with andesite, just good old andesite. Then, on the end of that area, we are going to place black terracotta with leaves on top, just nicely spaced apart, 1 each. We also want to place iron bars left and right of the andesite row, so this will separate the car park and the little stony patch that we have created. Once all that has been done, we've done a good chunk of the front of the build. The next thing that we are going to do is place a little seating area. So this is directly in the center of the area in between the rows of iron bars. So right in the middle, we're going to place a light grey concrete, extend left and right. On top of the light grey concrete, the center one, we place 2 black stone wall with a red carpet on top, red banners surrounding the wall, and then we want to have oak stairs on the front and the back, and this just makes a nice little, it's almost like a picnic table really. Once that has been complete, we have a bunch of banners to make. So first of all, to make some banners, I'm going to clear a little bit of room, and I'm going to make the most difficult banner first of all. So we're going to grab a loom, 1 white banner so far, creeper charge, flower charge, we will need some black dye, probably some white dye as well, and for the remaining part of this we'll also need like flower pot bamboo and lanterns. So, step 1, ladies and gentlemen, we want to throw the loom down on the ground, place a white banner in there, flower charge, black dye, that's step 1. Grab that, put that back in, remove the pattern, and then we want to place some white dye in there, and we want to make the lower half of the banner white. Grab that, put that back in, replace the white with black, and we are looking for this. Black chief indented. Grab that, put that back in, then remove the white die, or rather the black die, and place white die in there instead, and we want to place a vertical row of white straight up the middle. Grab that, put that back in, remove the white, put the black in, add a creeper charge banner, or creeper charge pattern, grab that, put that back in, and then remove the black die, remove the pattern, place white die in there, and we are looking to place a horizontal row of white just straight along the bottom. Grab that, put that in your hotbar, grab a lantern, bamboo, flower pots, and let's head all the way up to the inside of the sign area. We are going to place that banner that we've just made right in the center, and of course this is a little panda, and we are going to place some lanterns and some flower pots with bamboo just scattered around the inside of this. So just wherever you might think it's appropriate, a couple of them will do, and I think that that looks really, really cool. That's a nice bit of decoration. Now, with that complete, I'm just going to store these away somewhere, by the way. With that complete, we have a bunch of banners to make, so I'm going to grab red banners, red die, white die, and we are going to start writing these signs. So this requires a lot of letters, strap yourself in. First is going to be P, so this is red banner with white die in there, make the right side vertical white. Grab your white, throw red in, and we want to make the lower half of the banner red. Throw the red die out, put white die in, place a horizontal row of white straight through the banner. Place a vertical row of white on the left side of the banner and a horizontal row of white on top of the banner. That is P. Next is A, so vertical row of white on the left, vertical row of white on the right, horizontal row of white on the top and through the middle, that is A. Next is N, vertical row of white on the left and right sides, diagonal row top left corner to bottom right corner, that is N. Next is D, so vertical row of white on the right, throw some red dye in there, look for the diamond shape, grab that, throw the white die back in there, and then place a vertical row of white on the left, horizontal on the top and on the bottom. D. Next would be A again, but we can reuse this. So instead of that, we are going to do E. Vertical row of white on the left, horizontal on the top, bottom, middle. There you go. E. Next is X. So that's really easy. It's just both of the diagonal patterns. Top left corner to bottom right, top right to bottom left, X. Next would be P again, but we can reuse it. So instead, we will make R, which is vertical row of white on the left, horizontal on the top, diagonal top left corner to bottom right corner, R. Next would be E again, but we have it. So last but not least is S. Horizontal row of white on the top, the bottom, top left corner to bottom right corner, S. And then last but not least would be S again, but we already have it. So we are going to, starting from the top left-hand corner of the red concrete area here, we're going to leave a gap of 1, 2, and then we're going to write Panda. P-A-N-D-A. Then, underneath this, but starting one row to the left, Express. E-X-P-R-E-S-S. There we go. How embarrassing would it be if I got that wrong? Perfect. Panda Express. Our work is almost finished with the outside of this build. All we have to do is add a ceiling, or a roof, or both actually, but first we're going to make the roof. So, quite simply, to make the roof, we are just going to use smooth quartz slabs. The smooth quartz slabs will start all the way on the front top left-hand corner of the build, on top of the glass. It will extend backwards. We want it to overhang where necessary and essentially fill the shape of the build. What I mean by that is, it doesn't matter if some of the smooth quartz slab doesn't connect to anything, we're just looking for one big solid shape. We don't want to extend these slabs inwards at all, it wants to be a nice solid filled rectangle. I'm sure you'll see what I mean once you see the overview. With the outside of Panda Express finally complete, we are now able to head inside and start adding detail. So the first thing that I want to do in here is I guess we should probably add a ceiling. That should probably be step one, actually. Whoops. So to make the ceiling, all we're going to do is add a row of red concrete that literally just fills in the entire inside portion of our Panda Express, and this layer of red concrete that we are going to place to do that sits one row above the window line. So you can see where the top of the windows is, leave a gap of one, and then place a big giant rectangular-ish area of red concrete above it. Don't leave any gaps. Easy peasy. Okay, that is so much easier to work with. So now that we've done that, I want you to come all the way over to the right side of the build. Place a vertical row of light grey concrete where we already have the layer of light grey concrete for the wall. This creates an alcove. Dig out the bottom of this alcove and replace it with sand. Dig out the top of the alcove and replace it with shroomlight. Underneath the shroomlight, we are going to place campfires, and then extinguish them, and then soak up the water. Then we're going to place bamboo, place oak trapdoors in front of the bamboo, flipped upwards, and that makes a pretty cool decoration. It'll look better once the bamboo grows, as evidenced by the growing bamboo. So the next thing that we have to do is make a bunch of tables. So the tables require oak stairs, oak planks. We will also need oak fence gate, dark oak fence gate, chains, lanterns, item frames, and stuff for the item frames, but later on. So, leaving a gap of 1 between the ends of the light grey concrete that we have, we want to leave a gap of 1 and place a row of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oak planks. Gap of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add another row inside of the oak planks, or outside of the oak planks. We want to extend them left and right, kind of like this way, towards the walls. Replace the ends of the table using upside down oak stairs. Just makes them look a little bit fancier. Just like this. I also forgot to mention we will need red carpet. So, we will need red carpet. Then, we want to place dark oak fence gates on the ends and middle of the table, flipped open. Oh, what a satisfying sound. Then we are going to place red carpet on top of the fence gate. Not the easiest task, so here and here wasn't too bad. Then place item frames in front of each of the seats that we have created. And, well, do the same on the opposite side. So, gates. Is it easier to place the carpet on a closed gate? We are about to find out. The answer is yes, actually. Yes, it is easier. So, we'll leave that, and then we get the satisfying sound last. There we go. Perfect. I really do like that sound. Then, we want to place item frames in front of the seats, and we now have a nice, perfectly divided up area for eating. We're not done. So, how is it easiest to do this? So we are going to, above the tables, have hanging lights. So on each table, we want to have a chain which hangs from the ceiling, which coincides with the end of the table. So here, and then also the middle, and also the other end. Underneath these, we are going to place an oak fence. And in between these, oak fence gate. What we then want to do is, attached to this, we want to place oak fence in front of where we have the oak fence gates, and oak fence gates in front of where we have the oak fence. I'm also considering that maybe what we do is we have the ends connected with chains on this side, and we have the two middle parts connected with chains on this side. And we want to add a lantern somewhere just on top of the gate like this, or on top of the fence, and it's just like a really cool decoration, or at least I think it to be. We want the same here as well, so we'll pick one of the sides to have just chains on the end, so we'll just make it this side again, so here and here, right? Perfect. And then oak fence underneath the chains, gates extending inwards, fence in the middle. Let's place the lantern on top. then on the, just right next to it pretty much, we want the chain in the middle with, actually no, we want to, let's start off by placing the fence in front of the fence gate in front of the fence, and then we will connect the fence in the middle upwards. So it's a slightly convoluted process, but I think it is worth it, and I do think it looks pretty good. Now, of course, all we're missing is placing some food and stuff in those item frames, but we can do that a little bit later. Next up, we are going to make the kitchen area. So first of all, we're going to smooth this back wall off using spruce planks, just like this. Then, in the corner, we are going to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow terracotta and extend it all the way up to the ceiling. Directly next to this, we want to take the top left-hand corner terracotta and place a blue shulker box next to it, red shulker, light blue concrete, extend down by 2, 1, 2, light grey concrete underneath, then join it back to the terracotta and extend left and join it to the light grey concrete that we already have. I'm also thinking that we will extend the ceiling of this out a little bit, but we'll do that in a moment. So we're going to extend the light grey concrete forwards, and I think that we're going to make a little alcove in here. And I'm thinking that we place a couple, like a furnace and like a smoker in here might be a good idea. We might also make that a little bit more detailed a bit later on, but underneath the shulker boxes we are going to place hoppers, and on the left side of this we're going to have a lever, and we'll place a button. We'll have an item frame also just directly above this. This is a drinks machine. We'll have this as kind of like a little cooking area. We want to take the end of the counter space here. We want to leave a gap of 1 and then place 2 light grey concretes extending forwards. Extend all the way over to the wall here, like this. And then, shall we say, from where the drinks machine starts here, we'll have a bunch of glass pane extending all the way over to the right. And behind all of these, we want to place cauldrons. So just directly behind all of the glass. That is absolutely perfect. So what we then want to do is also add a little bit of, I cannot believe I forgot this bit of decoration. We need the blackstone or deep slate stair. Doesn't really, oh, cool. It doesn't really matter which one. I thought I'd lost it then. And we're going to place this next to the glass, and then like a lantern on the end here, flower part, put a flower in there, that's perfect. We could even chuck an item frame on here as like a plate or a tray or something similar to that. And then that's pretty good, and then we can choose to fill these in with item frames or something similar. Probably item frames. We'll just have a bunch of item frames. That'll look great. We want to occupy this yellow terracotta area in here using some painting. So these will be in the same line as the hoppers. So just a bunch like that, just a couple of random ones. That has turned out perfectly symmetrical, of course. And then I want to build up this area here using red concrete. So I think that we're going to place red concrete kind of surrounding this counter space here. So literally just like one row around the outside of it, like so. And then I don't actually know whether I want to raise the ceiling in here, but we could add some light though. So I'm thinking if we add light above where we would actually get the food, just kind of like just on the front part here, just add a bunch of shroom light. That looks pretty good. It's still quite dark in here, or is it atmospheric? I'll let you be the judge. So that's looking pretty good. I actually quite like this a lot. Above where we have these two cookers here, we can add, I mean, also, by the way, we can add things like we can, maybe just on the end here, just a bit of branding. Maybe just like, just one of the Panda banners again might look good. Kind of just adding it, like, I don't want to add it too flagrantly everywhere, but maybe it looks good like there and there. Just kind of, you know, just a bit of branding here and there. Maybe even just snuck away just here in this corner. I don't know whether it's too much or not. It might be a bit silly. It's up to you. Then we are going to, yeah, let's make this a little bit more refined, shall we? So let's add some stairs to the top of this. So maybe some stone stairs. We'll add some walls underneath just to make it look a little bit more interesting. So like so. I think that looks all right. Maybe we'll even add like an item frame on top of here on top of the actual furnace instead of the smoker. Along here we could even add some like a bit of decoration using some like terracotta, flower pots, bamboo, maybe something like that. Maybe add some sand in here, so maybe a couple of sand with some bamboo in it. Maybe a green glazed terracotta with like, I don't know, I mean, we could have more bamboo. I don't know if that little area even needs filling in, but I do like the idea of having some more bamboo, or maybe even just another decorative plant might be good, like a fern or something like this. We could maybe add a trap door in front of this, just to kind of like section it off a little bit. I mean, we're kind of at the point here, ladies and gentlemen, where we can really just sort of focus on filling in some of the item frames. I did also consider adding some paintings to like I did a little bit of research, and it seems as though there's a lot of like signage above where you would actually get the food, so that's something that we could possibly add. Another thing that we could add as well is some decoration in front of the food, so some white and black banners hung in front of, or hanged, is it? Whatever. Hung in front of the light grey concrete in front of the actual food. That might actually look pretty good. When it comes to the drinks machine, we also have to, of course, add the little potion up here, and we can add a couple of cups to the drinks machine as well, just underneath the hoppers, aka like the drinks dispensers. That looks pretty good. And beyond that, like, we just have to add a bunch of stuff to the actual like item frames, as I said, and I've actually got like a stock of stuff that might be good. Like I will reuse a lot of stuff, of course, because I don't want to like go too crazy, but if we just fill in maybe like, you know, I'm thinking like the stews would look good. These kind of look like noodles, and we can add like kelp, and any of the meats look pretty good as well. Just add those to the item frames for a bunch of different selection. And the same thing with the food on the tables. If we are just a bit selective in making sure that we don't add too much, although I do like the fans. I'm a fan of the fans. They look pretty good. And in doing that, ladies and gentlemen, once you've filled in all the item frames, I think that we've got something pretty good here. I think we've finished. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to like and subscribe. Click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. That's it. If you do want to make anything else by me, please check the description below for the City Builds playlist. It will also be linked at the end of the video, and hopefully something from it will be auto-playing for you very shortly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.